Adam Carolla was saying to another band, he's like, you know what, whenever I see something that fails, I file it in the A file. A for the Aquabats. Because there was a band that looked like it was going to do something, and they suck. And I was like, that SOB.
So, like, this is the Aquabats. They're a ska band, or whatever. Actually, scratch that. They're so much more than just a ska band. They're a syndicate of silliness, a marquee of madness. They're superheroes capable of a spectacular stage show and telepathically tantalizing you through the television set. They are a very real band made up of extremely fictional characters. Imagine, if you will, you combined the DNA of the Power Rangers, Devo, the 1960s Adam West Batman series. Now, imagine you cranked up the wackiness and turned it into a soup of ska, new wave, and surf. That, my friends, is the Aquabats. In the 90s, they were a power so great that even Disney came a-knockin'. Once Mickey Mouse and his greedy cohorts got their grubby little mitts on them, they suffocated and stomped them out. Twice, only for them to overcome the vile acts of the reprehensible corporate rodent to forge their own path to television glory. This is the entire history of the Aquabats, or whatever. I don't know. Likes and subs. Let's go.
A knife in the back, I stagger to the bone.
Our story begins in Huntington Beach, California, in the year 1994 with a Mormon named Christian. What did he and his best friends Chad and Boyd love doing more than anything? Going to punk rock shows. What did they hate? How everybody at those punk rock shows took it so darn seriously. They were just a couple of talented goofballs who wanted to make music, so they started a band to satirize the super macho and serious punk scene. Thus, the Aquabats were born. You may know them for their superhero personas, but at first, the idea was to just wear different matching outfits every show. One time, as a group of chefs, they held a real-life barbecue on stage. Another time, while playing a last-minute kid's birthday party, they looked like this.
We have the greatest fan right there. Give me 5.
At the time, their local area had a growing ska scene, so instead of being misunderstood and mocked at the straight-up punk shows, they instead focused on the crowd that was more receptive to their silliness. But you know what? Changing outfits every show was just so friggin' annoying and stressful. What if there was an obvious solution? Superheroes. They obviously chose superheroes. You and I know, we all know they chose superheroes. Boyd worked at a wetsuit manufacturer. Very convenient. He made the suits out of the mountain of rash guards that he sat upon. Toss a traditional Anarchy A on the front, claim it stands for Aquabats, and boy, we're cooking. The helmet and eye mask gimmick tied it all together, but still, something was missing. If only they knew an up-and-coming fashion designer to complete the vision. Oh, would you look at that? They do. Another wonderful convenience. Paul Frank, pre-Monkey Thing fame, has entered the chat. He constructed a set of matching vinyl belts as a gift to the band. The look was now complete. But what does every superhero have? A mythology, a well-crafted origin story. What did the Aquabats do? Did they brainstorm over many sleepless nights? Did they corkboard it out? Perhaps they sketched a timeline on a napkin or something. Nah. None of that. They just made it up on the spot from one interview to the next. The band members had a higher turnover rate than Walmart after Christmas, so coming up with a backstory for all these temporary bats would just not be worth it. Before fleshing out all their alter egos and superpowers, they put out a demo tape in 1994 called Revenge of the Midget Punchers. It sounded a little like this. By 1995, the core members all had names. The Caped Commander on vocals, Crash McLarson on bass, Catboy on the trumpet, Chainsaw the Prince of Karate on guitar, and a couple more replaceable goons who all got jobbed out eventually. The band themselves were an 8-piece, but since they were superheroes, they needed villains to fight during the show. Obviously, those roles would be played by their friends. meaning the venue and the promoter had to allow 15 people basically into the show for free. Now, depending on the DIY venue, that could be a huge chunk of capacity. Oh, and also, Christian's brothers were brought in as graphic designers and cartoonists, but more on them later. The entire brand was coming together. Before we get to the very real story that got them canned by Disney twice, I'll have to explain the lore of the fictional characters that the band plays in this brief lore dump.
I just wanted you to come over, sit on my couch.
Okay, so like they're half human, half bat hybrid beings from the island of Aquavania or something. A destructive force or villain or evil type thing or whatever sent the Aquavanians into the ocean. They washed up in California. They were taken in by a mad scientist who went by the name of Professor Monty Corndog. This scientist used chemicals to turn the Aquavanians into superheroes. With the added anti-negativity helmets and rock and roll music, they set out to quote-unquote save the world. This entire thing would get retconned into oblivion and twisted into a narrative pretzel, so I say don't worry about the backstory too much. They're just the Aquabats, okay?
Attention! I must have your undivided attention! My name is the Professor! And now the truth can be told! Something I discovered 4 years ago in my laboratory in Southern California! They washed up on the beach! I took them in! And now they're here to take over the world! I give to you! From the island of Aquabania! The Aquabats!
In 1995, they dropped their first album, The Return of the Aquabats. It sells like 20,000 units or whatever, with no label and no distribution. Just word of mouth and a reputation of bumping shows. 1996, pre-Blink-182 fame Travis Barker joins the band. Boy, this kid can drum, can he? 1997, at the peak of ska popularity, they drop another LP. The Fury of the Aquabats comes out and hits the Billboard Top 200, 172 to be precise. The single from that record was called Super Rad. They got famous comedian Bobcat Goldthwait to direct a video for it. People were all like, whoa, dude, this rules. 1998, the Aquabats are famous rock and rollers now and they're out on the Warped Tour. They also tour briefly with Blink-182 on that year's Snow Core. I can't confirm for certain, but this is most likely the tour that Blink-182 fired their drummer Scott Raynor on. According to sources on the internet, there was an onstage fight between the members of Blink-182 that set in motion the firing process. Either way, Travis was there with the Aquabats, so he kind of filled in on drums for the rest of the tour. And kids, the rest is history. He joined Blink permanently, obviously. Dr. Rock joins the Aquabats to replace him on drums. This is where we meet the evil mouse for the first time. Oh crud, did I forget to mention Christian was a child actor who has ties to Hollywood, and his dad isn't just some old Mormon, that he's a high-ranking Mormon, whatever that means. That's just all to say, the Commander's got connections. By that year, Christian changed the name of his alter ego to MC Bat Commander, and the Commander got an idea. He said, what if I use my industry connections to get this Bobcat Goldthwait directed music video in front of some TV executives somewhere? Probably. Disney, Buena Vista were all like, ooh, whoa, wow, we like what we see here. We're gonna take this, okay? But we're gonna make some tweaks, okay? The Commander replied with a hearty, sure thing, little homie. Apparently, they wanted to take the illustrations created by Christian's brother Parker and turn them into environments for the band to exist in. That sounds rad as hell, right? Nah, dog, that sounds grueling. The band hated it. Disney hated it. It was nobody's vision. Nobody wanted this. Therefore, it was all locked away in a vault, never to be seen by another human eyeball ever again. It's literally classified as lost media up until this very moment. Just like that. Poof. Up in smoke. Gone. No redo. No retake. Just done. Bye-bye. Thanks for coming. The band took it in stride. What else could they do? They had shows to play. This was literally a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Or was it? 1999, the Aquabats vs. the Floating Eye of Death is released.
I'm so happy, I'm overjoyed, we're gonna hang out tonight.
They change up their sound a little bit. It's a little bit more synthy now. The label is all like, this will flop, you know, with a glizzy in their mouths, probably. We'll put it out anyway. Even though people love the direction and the new sound, without a clear single, the record doesn't sell well. The label was right. It flopped. But you know what might save it though? A really cool video, the band and label said, all at the same time. So, the label gave the Bats some moolah to make a music video with. But what did the band do with the money instead? You guessed it, kids. They made another TV pilot to shop around to networks. LOL. The label isn't stoked. The label goes under. Unrelated, probably. I think everyone is still on good terms to this day. For some reason, I think Coachella binds them somehow. I don't know. Music industry stuff. Whatever. Anyways, they have a pilot to shop around now. There seems to be a problem though. Reality shows are really popping at the end of the 90s, and the networks want to turn the Aquabats into a reality show. You know, with confessionals and challenges and stuff. LOL. These dudes, a reality show. As funny as that sounds, I don't think so, bud. The band ain't buying any of that type nonsense either. I'll tell you that much for free. The year 2000, Fox Family steps up to the plate and says, we want to do it Aquabats style. The Aquabats in color was set to begin airing on that network. Television! Glorious television! The network announced it during that year's upfronts and everything. Finally, it's happening. It's really real. It's a reality, right? The Aquabats are gonna be on TV. Right? Right? Guys? Guys! Oh no! No, what's that sound? No, are you kidding? No! No! Oh, what's that laugh? No! From out of nowhere, Disney buys Fox Family. You gotta be kidding me. What? How? No! Why? But it's true. It's damn true. And the mouse still ain't having any of it. The mouse says it's time to eat me some bats again with a lip full of zins. Probably. That same year, the band puts out a B-side comp from the previous recording session, but it wasn't quite enough to save them from the upcoming sad arc. The mouse won. Again. It's over. For now. If you're familiar with the Aquabats, you know they eventually get to television, but not before more suffering. Day jobs, real life alter egos, normal life stuff, semi-hiatus. Catboy leaves the band. He played the horns, and the horns were the heart and soul of this band, and they have just been ripped out. The sad arc just gets sadder. 2004, they scrape themselves together and drop another EP. It's called Yo, Check Out This Ride. This time, no horns.
You check out this ride.
2005, with a Sharpie mustache drawn on his lip, the commander says, it's time to drop an LP. Probably. They do. It comes out on Nitro Records. They call it Charge. Still, no horns. New wave, post-punk, art rock type beat. Somehow, it's still awesome. It's not as cartoony and as erratic as the Aquabats should be, but it still works. They tour with the Offspring, and they finally make it to television, but not as a whole fully fledged show. They just play the single off that record on G4. In 2006, another core member leaves. Chainsaw says, goodbye, folks. Don't cry, though. Replacing him on guitar is the founder of Death by Stereo. He's now gonna go by his Aquabat name, Eagle Bones Falconhawk. 2007, the band announces a hiatus. But don't worry, they're about to blow up massively in the most unexpected way. Ever hear of the insanely popular preschooler show called Yo Gabba Gabba? Yeah, well, the commander created that shit. The Aquabats are now on TV. Let the cash cow finally graze. The band is featured on Yo Gabba Gabba all the time, but it's not their original vision. It's not the 60s Batman Power Rangers action comedy they originally envisioned. So they tiptoe into the production office of Yo Gabba Gabba and they convince them to make another TV pilot. This time it's half animation, half live action, half hour long. That's right, kids, this pilot has 3 halves. They premiered it at Comic-Con 2008. It got picked up by Cartoon Network. Are you kidding me? This is amazing. Woohoo! Television! Bring it on! Oh wait, what's that you say? Cartoon Network gets bought out, you say? Oh, cool. The Bats are canceled again? LOL. How does this keep happening? At least this time it wasn't the fault of no greedy mouse. In 2011, the Aquabats released my personal favorite album of theirs. It's called High Five Soup.
Got it like that, they go by the name of the Aquabats.
What's that in the distance, little homies? Do I see a ray of hope? I do see a ray of hope in the form of a TV executive who loves the bats. The Discovery Channel has been gobbling up IP for decades now, and in 2012 they merged with Hasbro to create a family cable channel called The Hub. The Ray of Hope TV executive made the deal happen. The Aquabats Super Show was set to debut on The Hub television. The original vision comes to life and it's gorgeous. The costumes, the set design, the comedy, the writing, the acting, the performances. It all happened and it ruled. It ruled so hard, in fact, it got nominated for a Daytime Emmy. The Aquabats have arrived. They didn't win that Emmy, they lost to another Hub show, but that's still pretty friggin' rad, not gonna lie. It ran for 2 seasons and a couple one-off specials, and then gets canceled again out of nowhere, even though the show rated highly and performed well for the network. It makes no sense. Absurdist comedy like this does not exist, and they made it happen, and people liked it. Still, the suits were like, can't have it. Oh well. More quiet years followed until 2018. The band tried to revive the Super Show through crowdfunding. It failed to reach the $1 million goal. Bummer. Time to reset the goal to 100,000 and meet it within minutes. A Jack Black produced web series would start to run on their YouTube channel. It rules, but it doesn't last that long. The band stays active on the channel, bringing over all the Hub episodes and music videos. In 2018, Travis Barker would join the band to play 3 songs with them twice. Then they had Travis feature in a music video for Powdered Milk Man. It kind of feels like a full circle moment. In 2020 came another album. It was called Kooky Spooky in Stereo.
Stand back, man. I don't wanna hurt you too much.
It came and went and didn't make much of a dent, to be honest. It's a solid enough record though. 2024, finally, they drop another album called Finally. This feels like a coup de grace, a swan song of sorts. Chainsaw and Catboy are back in the mix. You know what that means? Horns are back. This album feels like a Ween record with how many genre switch-ups there are. Ska, punk, new wave, hip-hop, R&B, and to close it off, a smooth, jazz, lounge-type song where the final refrain goes like this. Finally, it's over. Finally, we say our last goodbyes. Take it easy, lil buddy. It sounds like the end to me, but don't worry, they haven't really retired yet. They're still out there playing shows, bringing their kooky brand of positivity from town to town. That's where the Aquabats situation is right now. But there is a timeline in a parallel universe where Disney didn't fuck them, and they're the biggest band to ever exist. But I say, if they're still playing Coachella this late into their career, and they get to showcase the mascots from their world famous show, I think that's a pretty good place to event it up. Likes and subs, let's go. Thanks for watching.